Dr. Uma Dasgupta. Uma auntie is here, and a scholarly lady, and I feel very small in front of her. I know she is educated from Vishwavarti, Shantiniketan, and then Indian Statistical Institute, Calcutta, and so and she is very involved with culture and traditions. So I thought that Uma auntie will be the best person. So the topic which I gave to Umanti is, in many traditional cultures, elders have been seen as a custodian of knowledge. So how do you see, this role evolving over time? What do you think the modern society? Do you think modern society value this the same way it used to happen in the past? And what is the evolution of it, which you have been seeing over the years? Your viewpoint, if you can just share.
Yes, thank you very much. Namaskar to everyone. Indeed, I think that modern society must be valuing elder care, old age, because there are so many facilities now for elderly people, for people to be living well. Children themselves, I think, although most of them professionally wish to be abroad because they work better there, that's what they certainly are entitled to do. But they want their parents to live well. So there is no longer, well, I'm sure we are a large society to sort of do a sweep. This may not be quite factual. I'm sure there are pockets where people still think differently. But on the whole, all these institutions that are coming up, which are really very good, even physically, for living. And that's really because the children are keen that their parents live well, while they are unable to all the time. Am I not audible? Forgive me. So indeed, I'm sure modern society does value this, and otherwise how would it have happened? Because I'm sure I will probably not be able to do a historical evolution that you maybe requested, but the change is quite obvious. I have been staying in Snowdia, which was started by the government, and it's people when they come to India say, has the government done this? Because it's very it's really almost something like a luxury home. Now that's not the main thing. What the main thing is that there is this recognition that why shouldn't the elderly, if they wish to, and if they want to, and if they can find the means to, why shouldn't they live just like any other sections of society? And Mr. Devashish, okay, I'll hold on to the button then. Devashish, whose apparently whose brainchild this is, Kunal would also know, and I obviously came to meet him through my first few years. He's now retired in Slovakia. He was very keen that the probing, as he used to use the word also, probing la short kichu korte pare. Kano na. I was telling Shushmita Bandul of Jagriti Dham, with whom I was coming, that I wasn't there for the first pujo, but I was there for the second pujo, and he introduced fashion parade as one of the sort of entertainments for the Bijoya Shambhagari. And he clearly was delighted that these elderly people. Now this was not like a normal fashion parade that we know. Obviously we were not walking the ramp or anything like that, but it was quite clearly something that was entertaining in the good sense, in the very sober way, and people were quite keenly participating among the, not everyone, but quite a few, and that made quite a good number. So indeed, to just finish responding to your question on this point, I do think that there is certainly a change in values towards the elderly, and I think a recognition that the elderly need attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Umanti. But one more aspect, which I wanted to know, she has studied and worked extensively on Tagore, and from Tagore's point of view, do you see? So someone who has studied, Tagore extensively, and you have. So, do you see any kind of synergy of his views on, the challenges of the older person's face, or any kind of sort of things which you see any kind of synergy in your from a Tagore's point of view?
Honestly, no. I wouldn't say that. I would say that the elderly, Rabindra Sangeet is Rabindra Sangeet, which is loved by all. And I think elderly, even the middle-aged, and sometimes the young sing a lot of Rabindra Sangeet in their own ways, these bands. And so they also obviously love Rabindranath. I don't think necessarily they connect him to old age, but I do want to, from the way you had first worded your question to me, and I was obviously thinking about it, I would say actually Rabindranath's photos would tell you towards, as he was advancing in age, his photos would tell you that he was aging. He was in a little bent, he was a wonderfully tall and handsome person, but he was getting a little bent. He was walking a little more quite clearly. But I don't think he ever talked about age and aging. I don't think he himself was, I think he was a poet, as he always would say, first and foremost a poet. He would occasionally even say he's a poet of Ananda. Again, it's not to say as if old age is not Ananda, but I don't think he was ever dwelling on old age. I think he just carried on doing as much as he possibly could. In fact, not many people would know this, but because I've studied the history of Shantiniketan and Sriniketan, his rural work, and Vishwabharati, his international university, that's the period, that's the history I have actually very seriously researched on. And there is a lot to research on. There's great archives. You don't think that there is such an archives of any other poet in the world, from what I know, than is the Rabindra Bhavan of Shantiniketan. Wonderful archives, thousands of letters between Tagore and the rest of the world, and of course his literary manuscripts, of course his paintings. And talking about old age, he started to paint in the last decade of his life. We all know this. This is commonly said, so it's not something very new that I'm saying. He left this world at the age of 80, and he started painting. And indeed, he was recognized to be quite a painter when he was about 70. Now, he did, of course, earlier on do these other kinds of paintings, which we call doodles. So it's not as if he had never painted before, but not on large canvases, not be recognized, not in these exhibitions all over the world, in Paris, in Germany. He was certainly treated as one of the important painters. So again, obviously, I don't think he ever said, I'm 70, I can't paint now. So, yes, that's
great,
it.
great. Thank you, and can we keep going to her for more suggestions on improvement of our Jagriti Dham, what are the things we should do, and we'll keep taking your guidance to take things forward. So thank you so much for coming today. I'll go now to